Jackie and Greg, for more on this, let's bring in former Israeli Prime Minister and currently the leader of the opposition in the Israeli Knesset, Yair Lapid. Mr. Lapid, thank you for being here as we go into, I believe, what is day 78 of the war. I want to get your reaction to what transpired here this week in what appears to be a watered-down resolution from the UN.
Yes, well, you know what? If they're going to have resolutions in the UN, why don't they start with imposing the ones before? We've been talking with the UN forever and ever now about Resolution 1701 in the northern border, in Lebanon. This has been there for a decade now. Nobody is complying to this resolution. So if they just want to talk to themselves, it's fine by us. But if they're taking resolutions seriously, they should start by making sure that they're imposing the resolutions they had before.
Yair, has the UN gone far enough in condemning Hamas? It doesn't appear their language was really quite forceful about what happened on October 7th.
This is, you know what, it's amazing to me. You know, they had, the Security Council was gathered because the UN Secretary General Guterres used what they call Article 99, which is a very, very rare article he can use in order to have the Security Council gathering. Now, they didn't use it in Syria, 500,000 people killed. They didn't use it in Congo, 4 million people killed. They didn't use it in Darfur, 500,000 people killed. They're using it when the Jews are being attacked and killed, and they're using it against the Jews and against Israel. So it is amazing to me that the United Nations is acting the way they are.
Let's talk about what's happening in Israel now. There are signs that Israel's economy is having struggles now with so many Israelis called up for reserve duty, with Palestinians not being a part of the full workforce coming out of places like the West Bank. What is your assessment of the war's impact on Israel right now?
Well, let's tell our enemies not to hold their hopes too high. The Israeli economy is strong. The Israeli society is strong. Even the differences we do have are due to the fact that we are a vital and a vibrant democracy, and our economy is a very advanced economy, very high-tech economy, and it can endure whatever it takes in order for us to win this war, and especially to bring back the hostages. This is, you know, when a society like Israel is totally focused on achieving a goal, we will prevail.
Let's talk about leadership. From the early days, you were not wanting to put any daylight between yourself and Prime Minister Netanyahu. But now it appears, at least from your social media, that it may be time for someone else to lead Israel. What is your thought?
Well, there is a reason, of course, why I've decided to stay in the opposition and not to join the Netanyahu government. And I have my thoughts about the kind of leadership we need these days. But if you'll excuse me, Griff, I feel a bit uncomfortable discussing this in international media while the country is at war. On the war, you're right, there is no daylight. Two goals: the total eradication of Hamas and bringing back the hostages back to their homes and to their families.
And Yair, I can completely understand wanting to, not in the international media talk about it. I guess kind of where I was going with that question is, we've heard talk about when will there be the next election in Israel? Is it time? Are we nearing the time for a new election or not?
Well, I would say 2024 is an election year, not only in the United States, but also in Israel. I think what has happened to us on October the 7th is earth-moving and has changed the Israeli society forever, and there will be, as a consequence, a political result to it. So yes, I think we're going to an election. You know what? It's part of being a democracy. Democracies can have an election even during wartime. The United States has been through election even during World War II, which is the greatest war in the history of humankind.
And Yair, I just want to get, in the time we have remaining, your sense of how the families are doing, the hostages that are still being held, the families of the victims that were killed. How is the spirit of Israel, and how are those families doing?
You know, it's heartbreaking. I'm sitting with the families on a daily basis, discussing this with them. Just imagine, I don't know, Griff, do you have children?
I do, 2 daughters.
So just imagine one day somebody's breaking into your house, taking your 2 daughters, and they disappear for 80 days. And you don't know if they're alive or dead, or since it's daughters, even, I don't want to go in there, but where things can happen. So this is what is happening to the families. It's devastating beyond belief, and the entire country is in a constant case. It's just sorrow. There's sadness in the air. We're at the beginning. There's a new year coming, and everybody's just sad and devastated, and trying to figure out what kind of people are doing this, taking children from their homes and holding them hostages in a religious war.
And should you be part of an election cycle forthcoming, what will be your message to the Israeli people, those that have been so sad, that are now making such great sacrifices as you try and get to some sort of end goal with situation in Gaza?
It's a great question. Well, I say the answer is, we have been in tough spots before, even tougher than this. My grandfather died in the Mauthausen concentration camp, and my father was a child in the Budapest ghetto. We've been to places no other nation has been to, and we always prevailed, and we always found the strength within ourselves to rebuild and to rejoice and to become something new and even better than before. So even this tough spot we're in is going to become the opening or the starting point for something greater and better. Israel is going to be fine.
That is the spirit of resolve, and one we have seen time and again from Israel. Yair Lapid, thank you for taking time and joining us. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays, Happy New Year. Thank you, Griff.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.